So this video, I'm going to talk about why Warren Buffett is not good advice right now. So, in a time where Warren Buffett, quote unquote, grew his wealth, right, from a penny, right? They say he grew from a penny. I think the story is total bullshit. But whatever happened, that's not doable nowadays. Have you seen the market? You can't take advice from Warren. Well, you can take advice. No, you can't. I wouldn't take advice from Warren Buffett. For one, Warren Buffett said that NFTs are stupid. He said that crypto is stupid. And then he said that real estate is a bad investment. That's 0 out of 3. So I don't understand. But he says the stock market is good. I don't think that's good advice. So Warren Buffett says crypto is bad. Real estate is a bad investment. And crypto is bad. But the stock market is good? No, I wouldn't take that advice. And then he speaks on compound interest. Yes, compound interest is good. But compound interest is only good if you have a consistent flow of income and you have a consistent investment, right? If you don't have consistency, then compound interest doesn't really work. The concept of compound interest is powerful, but the interest is based on the capacity of the salary or the capacity of the investment, right? Because even if the capacity of the investment is powerful or if it's big, if it's not consistent, then the interest doesn't mean anything because now you're just fluctuating. That's why I say that income really is the king, because if you got income, you have cash, unless the government just take your cash, right? If you have cash, you don't necessarily have income because you can just steal. You can steal cash or you can just rob people for cash. But it's not under black and white, so it's not even on paper or it's not on file. So until it's on file, you're still just you're just going behind the government, right? So it's untaxed, even if it's cash. But income is something that you can report. And if it's report, now you got credit, right? So income really is king because even if you have compound interest, it's income through investment. And that's not cash, right? If you got real estate and you're producing income through leverage appreciation or you're flipping or you're wholesaling or you're just, the pricing is going up or you're just making money through cash flow rentals, it's income. And you can just make another income somewhere else. Even if you got credit, you're producing an income with credit, or it's not. What is it? It's nothing, right? It's just a number. It's how you generate the income with the credit. So the income is the king. That's what I think. If you take somebody that has 10 million in income and a low credit score, or you take somebody with a higher credit score and no income, which one would you take? Would you take an 800 credit score with no income or 10 million in income and no credit score? You're going to take the 10 million because now you can generate a credit score easily. But you can't generate an income with 800 credit score. You can try, but it's going to, more than likely what you're going to do is going to drop it because you don't have it's how much you're paying back. You just have the ability to borrow. You don't have the ability to pay back. So now you have to create the ability to pay back. But if you have income, you always have the ability to pay back. But if you have income, you don't need cash to have income. But you need income to have cash, right? Or if you got income, you got cash. Because you can just get it from a bank or you can just liquidate. But if you got cash, you can't necessarily liquidate cash. You can just put it in a bank or you can just buy something. Yeah, you can liquidate it into something that might be worth more than you buy it for, but right, there's still a chance in that. If you put it in the stock market, right, you can only put it in a bank or you can turn it into crypto. So it's going to be reported anyway. So you got to report it anyway. So that's why I say, really, income is the king. Income is king. So if anybody was to ask me, like, how can I make more money? Is how can you generate a bigger income? How can you leverage what you know to grow your income? Like, high. Like, what can you sell for a very high price? That's what I would say. Because it's going to be very hard for you to make $1 million without selling something. That's just what it is. You might get a job and you might grow it over time, but there's somebody who can sell something just as fast and make it in like a month, what you make in 2 or 3 years. And you just be like, oh, I'm gonna sell this for $10,000, and then they just find 1,000 people who want to buy it, something for $10,000. Boom, they just made what you made. You be like, oh, I'm gonna sell boats. Boats cost $10,000 plus. I'm gonna find a way to sell boats. You find 1,000 people who want a boat. Boom, now you got $1 million. You go, oh, how can I do it? Well, you got Google, you got analytics, you got ways to sell things. All right. That's why I say income is the king. And compound interest is a rocky road. Like, to me, it's like a sales pitch. That's why if you see like a lot of MLM companies and stuff like that, they sell you compound interest because it's a sales pitch. It's not really, it's doable, but it's psychological. Like, you can sell compound interest, but is it doable? It's not going to interest if you don't have the skill. Like, let's just say you work as a mechanic. Now you're 40, you're 50, and you're old. That doesn't mean your money is going to interest. You can do the right investment, it's going to fall down. Or you could lose a job, now it done fell down. It's not going to compound interest. That's just it. So I think like Warren Buffett is bad advice. For me, the best entrepreneur advice is Gary Vaynerchuk, because he's like now. He combines nostalgia with hiring and firing and people psychology and emotional intelligence and people. Because people is really the number one thing in business is people. How are you going to deal with people? How are you going to talk to people? How are you going to sell to people? How are you going to get people? What do they want? What are they selling? How are you going to get around people who are not serious? Right? That's the number one thing. If you're going to sell something, how do you get around people who are not serious? That's it. Right? You take the 48 laws of power, it's there. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. If they can't pay $500, then they're probably unhappy and unlucky. That's just it. They can't pay $500 to make $10,000. Right? They can't pay $10,000 to make $1 million. They can't pay $25,000 to make $2 million. Right? That's the realm of unhappy and unlucky. Yeah, they might not see themselves as that, but they're happy where they're at. So that's not who you want to target, because that's not the type of money you're trying to make. That's why I talk down on people who buy so many courses. It's like, if you buy a course, right, you have to think of why you bought that course. How did they sell you? That's what you should think. Like, think about how did they sell you, and would you sell what they're selling? Because they're just selling you. It's sell or be sold, right? is sell or be sold. So when you buy something, you have to have that mind frame. Like, what are they selling to me? Like, even like you could Google Gary Vaynerchuk advice, and he'll like that one advice will just give you more than what you'll learn in what you like a hustler's university, right? Or you know what I'm saying? Like something like that, right? Why don't you just learn the skill? It's like people buy courses to avoid skill. Skill is what you want. You don't want a course, you want a skill. Right? If you're gonna do, let's say, a mark, like if you're gonna do what I do, like I run a marketing agency, but I have skill though. I didn't just say, oh, I'm just gonna start I'm gonna buy a Ty Lopez course, and then it's like, no. When I bought Ty Lopez course, I was already certified. I just wanted to see, like, what is this? And then I seen a bunch of other people who was certified just like I was certified. So I just saw a marketer who knew that people wanted to do this. And I said, okay, this business model, it's a good business model. But the problem is they don't know how to sell. That's the thing. They don't know how to sell. Because a person is not going to teach you how to sell because they're selling you. That's how they sold you. Right? A good salesman knows a good salesman. That's why that's the problem. That's the problem with people who have cheap courses. But we're going to keep this on Warren Buffett and why it's just bad advice. He just gives bad advice. That's just what I think.